Okay, today's project is a table, an older table. The gentleman wanted me to see if I could do something with the top of it. He says it's a shame to throw away a good old table like this. So we're going to see what we can do. This end here is off, of course, and it had a couple hinges on this thing, and that one's missing, that one's needing. So we'll have to add that back onto it here. And then this piece is how it's actually held up, and it just swings out of the way. So we'll get that to hold this end up. And then the side over here is totally missing that piece, so I'm gonna have to make another one to match that up. Here's the swing out of this one. And then this piece of wood is also messed up at the end, so I guess I'll build a new piece for that to match it up, and tighten all the screws and such, and see if we can make something happen on it. So what I've done so far is I cut one piece here, which is a piece of wood I had, and we're going to go ahead and rip that down to make the replacement for this one. And then we're also going to take the next piece of wood, and I've glued together several layers here of this wood, and we'll let that dry, and then we will sand that down and make it fit the this one. So we'll kind of follow the project along, see how she looks when we get done. Okay, so the first stage of this thing, I think I'm going to do, I've got the other glued up over here, and so we're waiting for that to dry. But this one here, the screw that goes in this one here to hold this pivot down, is definitely way too big and not holding. So all I'm going to do is, I've got a toothpick. I'm going to just stick a little bit of glue and stick that into the hole, bust off a couple of them, and then we should be able to run the screw back in there and should tighten it right up nicely. So that's how we'll fix that wallered out hole. Okay, we've glued it and put the screw back in it, and now it's nice and solid, and we'll just pull out, lines back up, and we're good to go on that one. So we'll go to the next step. Okay, so this piece, we're going to take a piece of pine on this one, and we'll set this up and run it through the table saw real quick. And then we'll see if we can get the router set up. And we're going to do about this groove that it's got in it. I don't know how well you can see that, but we definitely want to get it fixed up. I guess probably this direction. There we go. So we'll go ahead and set that up and see if we can get that much. Okay, I dadoed out the end, and all we're doing now is going to lay this on top of there. We've marked our angles on both ends, and we'll take this over to the bandsaw and simply cut those off. Okay, I did cut that on bandsaw. I left just a little bit. I'm just going to take it over to the sander and just sand it down to the line, so I make sure I'm right on it, and that should make the piece match up perfectly. Okay, that piece looks like it's going to match up nicely, and we'll go ahead and we'll be pulling all these other ones off the top also and run them all through the sander at the same time. Get them all the same thickness and straighten them all back out again. But now we'll work on the other half, making the big piece. Okay, I've glued up my boards for the next piece, and we're going to simply have to run the dado on this one also to get that groove right there put on this board. And then we'll just trace that out and cut it out on the bandsaw. Okay, it's dadoed out on this one to match that one, and we've drawn a circle around that to give us the full arch. So now we'll take that and take it over and put it on the old bandsaw and see how we make out with that. Okay, we've got those all cut. That half almost matches the other half now. We'll take all these and send them through the drum sander and kind of sand them down so they all look about the same. There is a difference in wood type, but we're going to not worry about that too much because, like I say, I think he's going to go ahead and paint it anyways. So we'll just let it go at that. Okay, so now we've taken the pieces I had glued together and we've run them through the planer, smoothed them out, got them all the same size, and run these existing ones also through the planer, and that kind of makes everything the same thickness. I've gotten the base sanded down a little bit, so it's ready to go. I think it's going to just be repainted again, so we got all the loose paint off of it, got her sanded up pretty decent. And so now we need to just secure the top back on it, and then we'll sand some of that around the edge, get some of that red off of there. And add a couple of hinges, and that should just about get us back to going. We'll see how she looks here in a little bit. Okay, we've got this one all sanded back down again. Everything's back attached the way it's supposed to. And at this point, up underneath here, to do this, we simply have the little fold out. So you take those and pull them out of the way. We've got the new hinges on there. That closes that side up. And we can do the same thing on this side, which gives us our little square table. And that looks pretty good too. So we'll go ahead and send this home back to him. I think he's probably going to go ahead and paint it again. And he can do a little bit more sanding on it if he needs to, but it's basically in a pretty decent shape. So it's a nice, good old wooden table. It's been around a good many years, and she'll be able to get a good bit of use out of it again. So we'll go ahead and I think all this is a pretty good project. It was kind of fun.